Okay, so it's been about, how long has it been? 2-3 weeks since I finished my first Vipassana course. I did my course in the Dharma Deepa Centre in Hereford in England. I'm now back in Toulouse, and I wanted to, for myself and for circus world, I felt actually, give an overview of just what I experienced 10 days Vipassana course. I watched many videos. I basically watched all the videos there are before going there. Everyone is explaining the technique, how you find it, what to take to the centre, all of this malarkey, which it did help a bit. But honestly, I think I was searching for... It's too hot to drink my tea. I was searching for just not, okay, if I hear someone's experience, that's what I'm experiencing, not at all, but just to hear an experience of more thoughts, feelings, how it went, how I felt about what happened, all of that. Well, I really can't see anything, it's super bright. So I'm just going to do like day by day. I'm going to try this as fast as possible. Documentation for myself. Day 0 arrived. Do that whole application, you fill out a little form, you reread all the conditions, what you're going to sign up for. It was really lovely. There was like great soup, or maybe overall amazing food. The beds, actually super comfortable, quite small but really comfortable, really warm, good to go. Like, they really look after you. It's really lovely. We were still talking at this point. We had like a tea, sat down, talked to some other girls. This was really lovely. The gender separation was a bit weird for me. I think that was the only thing that I found strange, that I didn't understand the reason for. I did ask them about it after, and maybe in the end I'll say something on this. I do advise making friends in the start. I know it sounds strange, you're going to be in silence, you're not going to have any interaction with these people, but you do, like, you kind of, the little things you notice about people, and just of having spoken to a few people, I think I spoke to like 4 or 5 people for like an hour, and then like some others I just kind of like randomly said hello to and like had a little exchange with, and it's nice to just have a little, you feel a bit more at home, you don't feel like you're surrounded by strangers. And then you go, you do your first meditation, you get assigned your little square pillow thing on the floor. And I was excited, nervous, kind of being a bit like, oh shit, what did I get myself in for? And then you do the first intro meditation thing, and you basically get told to observe your breath. And at the end, no, at the start and at the end, it's crazy. Like, nothing happens in 10 days. You literally sit with your eyes closed. But so much happens in 10 days. Oh my god, it's only a 3-minute video, and I've gone on day 0. Yeah, I don't know why I thought the chanting was super funny. That first day in the evening, well, day 0 in the evening, I found it hilarious, and I was really struggling not to like start laughing, because it just sounded like someone was like trying to sound out the alphabet for the first ever time, and you don't have the context of like what he's saying yet. You don't understand why you don't understand anything basically. I thought it was hilarious. Honestly, a bit of worry was in me of like, oh my god, what if I'm going to have like a laughing problem this whole time? Luckily, by the end of day 1, it was over. Like, already halfway through day 1, it was over, because it's like in every meditation. So you're hearing it every few hours of the day, you're hearing these chants. It happens, whatever, move on. Went to sleep. Oh, I met my roommate for about 5 minutes before the silence began. We like said hi, both. She was super lovely. But yeah, so then met my roommate and went to bed. I did not hear the 4 a.m. gong. I was out until like they ring it again like 5 minutes before the meditation, so at 4:30 a.m. Also, like, I'm not about to give a whole download of what your day looks like when you're there. Like, there's 1,000 videos on it. The timetable is online for everyone to look at. Go do your own research. So yeah, I missed the wake-up gong, which already I was like, well, I can sleep in a bit. Oh, there's a squirrel. So I woke up and I had this little watch thing, because you have no technology, no nothing. And it said like 4:28. So I literally stood up, put clothes on and walked into the meditation hall. My first 2 hours sitting in meditation, and oh my god, my brain was everywhere. But like, it was day one, so I still had a lot of motivation. Like, I wasn't beating myself up. I wasn't how you are at home sometimes when you're like really distracted in meditation. You kind of like almost give up too soon, or you just get annoyed with yourself, or you start questioning, or you start like, it's just like, you don't. That was kind of like filtered out for me the first day. You're in a lovely space, like it's very conducive for meditating. The silence was not such a problem for me. It was a bit strange, like if someone held open a door to not say thank you and stuff, but that quickly goes away. Meditation was difficult. I mean, like, you're sitting trying to focus on your breath and you keep getting distracted. You go, it's fine. Breakfast, all the meals were incredible, but the first day I do remember it being very awkward, or I felt very awkward, to like sit in silence and eat my dinner next to someone. That was really weird. But the first day I didn't break any rules. 2. Almost. Not properly anyway, so you're not allowed to read or write. And for me, writing was like, how am I supposed to do this without writing? And I had put in like my underwear bag, like one piece of paper. And I had told myself that if I need to, I can write down like a few sentences each day, just to keep myself sane. And also I was making a plan in my head. I'd seen the walking area in the woods. It was really beautiful, but I was like, oh my god, like, you've walked around it in 10 minutes. That's it. Like, there is no physical exercise. You cannot. I was like, how on earth is someone who lives on a trampoline supposed to do this? Physically really uncomfortable the first day. Like, not like in pain uncomfortable, just like, I was just fidgety. Like, I could not sit still. But also wasn't a surprise. I've been like that the last 24 years of my life, so whatever. Should I just give up on looking at the camera? Completely unrelated. Biscuit flavoured Tetley's tea. Tetley? Yorkshire? Whoever's brought out biscuit flavoured tea. Incredible. I can't see anything. We're changing. Ouchie. Okay, where was I? Day one. Went off without any mishaps. I didn't have to speak to the teacher at lunch. It kind of happened. It was alright. Day 2, I heard the gong. Got up at 4 a.m. I was very proud of myself. But then, like, I had this for the rest of the course, actually. Like, I started naturally waking up at 4 a.m. with the gong. But then you have 30 minutes, and I'm not someone like a whole skincare routine or anything. Like, I just kind of, like, went to pee, brush my teeth, drink some water. So it's like 5 minutes. There's no one to talk to. There's nowhere to go. It's still dark. I was just a bit... I don't know. I didn't really know what to do with that time. Day 2, I felt like my focus, I could feel it, like, getting streamlined. I could really feel it getting streamlined, and the kind of things that I was being distracted by were not so superficial. Like, day 1, it was just like, oh, I'm here in this course, oh, my leg's numb, oh, avocados, oh, this, and I was just like, what the hell is going on in my brain? Day 2, I was getting distracted, but I was bringing myself back a lot more. But the things that were distracting me, I felt like were like a surface level. They were like a level deeper. Not really deep, but just like, how do I feel about living in Toulouse? What am I wanting to do after? How do I feel about always being an orphan at Christmas? Like, just things like this, like a bit more real worldy. I wasn't like being distracted by random images in my head or, I don't know, stupid thoughts anymore. And day 2 was the day when I was like, I genuinely at some point, I was like, my arms are going to fly in the air just to be able to move. So I went towards the teacher and I was like, listen, I don't know how to sit still. I've never done it in my life. And actually I started like running around outside. Not running, but like running on the spot. Like I'd like go in the forest in like a little bit of time off. And then like when no one was around on my walking path, I'd be like doing jumping jacks and all kinds of weird shit and like swinging my arms around. And oh my god, I was like really going crazy day 2, like physically. But then also the afternoon of day 2, I managed, for the first time I just sat and I was just like, my streamlined focus was insane. I've never felt it like that, and I managed to keep it for quite a while. And that gave me a lot of motivation of like, okay, come on Tash, like let's really commit. Like, of course I was like committed to the course when I went, but that was like, okay. And the teacher really helped me that day actually, and she was like, well, you learn to handstand. You learn, when you join circus school, she was like, were you tired? I was like, yeah. I remember my first year in Code Arts, like, especially the first few months, like, I was dead at the end of every day. Like, I went home and went to sleep, like, immediately. I was done. And never did I think, you know what, maybe an active lifestyle is not for me. I was just like, well, I'll just, like, acclimatise. It's fine. I'll get used to it. And now, why should it not be the same? Like, I never thought about it like that. She was like, you've never learned to sit. It's a posture. It's just sitting. You learn to hold a handstand. You can learn to sit. Like, it's like that. It's just a skill. It's just, you're not going to die if you just sit. You're going to have to learn. Like, it's a skill to learn. And I really, as soon as she was like, well, you didn't go home and think, well, I'm not an active person. I can't do this kind of lifestyle. So I'm like, I'm just there being like, oh, I'm not someone who sits. And I was also realising that it's something people told me all my life. They're like, oh yeah, Tash can't sit still, Tash can't sit still. And it was true, but it was also like a self-fulfilling prophecy that, like, if that's what I'm always told, you become what you're told you are when you're a kid. And then I became that. And so this was a realisation for me of like, oh, I think it was also a bit of an excuse of like, oh, I can't sit still. How am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to run around outside? She was like, just gently walk. You don't need to do anything. And I also asked her, I was like, I feel like I've got so much in my brain that I'm trying to hold on to of realisations of my own from the discourses in the evening that are like fascinating. I was like, there's so much that normally I could write pages on my own thoughts, expand upon, all of this stuff. And she was like, firstly, all the videos are available. You can let that go out your brain. Anything important is going to stick with you. And I was like, oh my god, but this is actually what I do, is like I tie myself down with baggage of my own brain just because I'm trying to remember stuff and I don't have time to like vent it out or write it or something like this. And that evening I went and I couldn't throw away my piece of paper. I was like, I have evidence of like the crime, which I hadn't used yet, my little scrap of paper. And I'd emptied my backpack, like I'd unpacked this little shelf we had. I put it in my backpack and I was like, I'm not using it. I don't want it. I'm gonna, like, day 2 I committed. Like, day 2 was like, let's go. I got a taste of what it was going to feel like, which I then is going to be rethought through. But I was like, I felt like, okay, I understood the meditation of what we were doing. I felt like my focus was getting streamlined, which is an incredible feeling for me. And I realised, okay, this is just a skill to learn. That's it. It's just a skill to learn. So day 3, I had less focus actually, but I was like, this is how it goes. It goes up and down. It's fine. And day 3 was good. It was kind of like a neutral day. You kind of actually, I mean, honestly, day 1 felt like 10 days long. So by the time you're at day 3, you feel like you've been there a lifetime. You know everything that's going on. Nothing really changes. Not yet anyway. Eating inside was completely normal. Actually quite nice. It was a bit of a relief to like, you can just kind of digest what you just went through or experienced in the meditation and thought and all. You can have your own time. It's nice. Wonderful food. Day 4, the first half of the day, you continue with the same meditation. In the afternoon, you start Vipassana, which I have now labelled for myself the day of the baptism of Vipassana, pain and death and raw meat being cut off your body and flesh being burnt alive. The most confronting day of my life, I think, and the most amount of pain I've ever been in. Because you only go as deep as in the Vipassana as you have focus to, which I kind of shot myself in the foot here because I'm a very, like, I wouldn't say obsessive person, but when I find something I like, I get hyper obsessed about it for like a period of time and then let it go again. But I hadn't had time to let it go again, so like I was in this hyper obsessed, like I'm going to get as good at this as possible. So my focus was pretty damn sharp. At this point you're not sleeping. No one on this course I heard is sleeping, but everyone feels great. You wake up in the morning feeling fresh, but you go to bed and your mind's like wide awake. I felt like my eyes were still open when my eyes were closed. That was crazy. It felt when I was lying in bed, it wasn't hard to keep my eyes closed. I felt like they were open because my focus was so like aware of everything. I don't really know if I was asleep in the night, but I was comfortable. Like I wasn't uncomfortable, wasn't restless. I was just awake. But in the meditation hall, sometimes I found it hard. I felt my eyes like falling open, which that happened. Where was I? Day 4, baptism of fire. We did the first round of Vipassana. That basically wake up every sensation in your body, or wake up, you become aware of, and you are to observe it equanimously. I broke. I realised how broken I was. I felt every injury I've ever had on my body, simultaneous, plus like everything simultaneously, as well as like okay, if that happened 5 years ago, that's been building up for the last 5 years now. There's all of that also on top. All the emotional trauma I hold in my body. A lot, like for me on my back, you know, I don't know what it's called, a scythe? The thing that, the character Death, his big axe thing, that curved shape thing, I felt like someone had got that and was like running it down my back. And my whole body was like raw red flesh. And then after doing that for a while, you kept running this like big knife axe thing over my body, especially my back, like, oh my god. And also like my upper chest, it was like someone just got like a knife and was just like going like this, cutting slices of me off, and then like you're like a little shivering ball of red pain, and someone just like picked up this ball and was like, let's just put it in the fire. So that 2 hours was like a lot. It's crazy how like when the meditation ends, it's not all over, like not at all. But you're not like in that pain anymore because you're not aware of it. Of course, you're always in that pain. You're not aware of the sensations. And normally when the meditations end, people are shuffling, people get up and leave, all of that, and that ended. And like I think for the last hour of that meditation, I just had tears running down my face, and you could just tell everyone was just like, the meditation ended and no one moved. But I also went outside and I felt lighter. I felt so much more aware of my being, but I felt lighter. But I also was like terrified. I was absolutely, the cat's come to join. I was absolutely fucking terrified which from a rational space right now, I understand it was not like this. But when I was within it, I was like, oh my god, my body has known, because you're told you're to observe any sensation, pleasant or unpleasant. If it's like a light tingling, if they give like a lot of examples of what you could be feeling. I don't feel no light tingling. I did not feel any pleasant sensation. I felt like absolute fucking shit. I felt the most amount of pain everywhere. And then I realised, I was like, oh my god, my body's no more pain than pleasure. And I just got terrified. I was like, oh my god, this is all I am. Because in that moment, everything within me, I'd literally lost all equanimity had gone out the window. And I had just lost my sense of bigger picture. And I was like, I'm only pain. What if there's only bad within me, filling me externally? There's only bad, there's only pain in my life. How am I supposed to live? Like, how am I supposed to decide for this life when there's only pain? And I didn't start doubting if I want. No, I did doubt. I just felt, what now? What do I do now if I realise that I am only bad, I am only pain, that's all I've experienced? And then I had this sudden fear of like, what if my body's not capable of feeling pleasure or anything positive? Because what if like the foundation is not there? What if my body doesn't have like the cookie cutter, oh I know what that is, it can't produce it in the future if it's never known it? So how is it ever going to produce something good if all it knows is pain? And I went to the teacher and I told her, and I kind of fell apart a bit, and she was like, I literally, so one of my biggest fears, my only fear going into this thing was to find out that I was broken. which what day 4 confirmed to me on when I was alone in my head was that it was true. And I went to the teacher and I was like, is it possible for me to ever feel a pleasant sensation? Because I don't know anything but this. How am I supposed to live with only the pain? What if I am only bad? What? And she was really, in the start she helped me a lot, in the end not really, but she was just like, this is the product of what I did the last 3 days. I did my job so well in the first 3 days to get my attention so razor sharp. That's as far deep into my subconscious as I was able to go. And this stuff is coming up to be dealt with and to pass away. So it's very good that it comes up. That means that I'm doing it really well. That means that I did a good job. And this, for me, to begin with, I was like, oh my God, I'm broken, I'm doing it wrong, whatever. That, like, put a lot of myself at ease. And then she was like, just try to stay equanimous. Like, really try to keep this in the forefront of your mind. This is right now. It's not the totality of you, which I don't think I heard properly in the moment, but over the days it sank in, and I understood more and more that you have to experience things you have to learn things on the experiential level, because the amount of videos I watched people, I don't even know if anyone's going to watch this. If people watch this, they're going to be like, oh, okay, there's pain there, okay. And it's like, you have no fucking idea until you experience it. And that's not to be like you're an idiot, not at all. Like, no. Like, I also went in and people had been like, oh yeah, like, they felt like their one limb was on fire, and then they felt like this, like, old trauma passed away. And I was like, what the hell is that? Like, what does that feel like? And it's also, like, right now I'm trying to verbalise a whole 10 days of my life that happened in an intangible inside my own head, not in the form of words, in the form of sensations. And I normally think in concepts, not in words anyway, so it's like, to then explain it, it's impossible to. I will do my best. So, day 4 ended with me in a very strange mood. Day 5, until day 4, I had been, like, in all my free time, I was walking around, keeping myself moving, stretching when I could in my room. Day 5, honestly, I didn't give up, not at all. I think I had surrendered on day 2 to the technique. And on day 5, I kind of was just like, I need to surrender a bit more. And it wasn't an active decision. It wasn't an active thought. I just kind of was like, if I don't want to walk somewhere, if I don't want to walk in the forest in my little time off, if I want to just sit with my tea, I'm going to do that. Which was actually one of the best things for me. I stopped doing star jumps in the forest. There was one day it was raining, I think like day 3 or something. And even though I'd surrendered to the point of like, okay, I don't need to like try force exercise it to myself, I was like, I'm still going to like swing my arms around a bit and get some blood moving. Which, don't fucking do it at 4 a.m. because I had nothing to do. I'd washed my face and everyone else was like having a shower or whatever. I had 30 minutes before the first meditation. I was already awake. I was like, I'll go have a walk in the forest because no one will be there, and I can kind of like just like swing my arms around a bit, swing my legs around a bit, get some blood flowing, feel a bit more like me. Not in a point of trying to exercise way, just feel a bit more like me. Don't do it, because you send your heart rate up, but you send blood flowing, then you have to suddenly sit really still and be calm and try focus, and your heart rate's going, and it was really horrible. Don't recommend. Just have a peaceful walk, be peaceful. It's 10 days of your life, just be peaceful. Like, it was difficult for me to learn to be peaceful, but just fucking be peaceful. Don't fight it. And trying to have like 10 minutes of randomly intenseness and then sit back down, it just makes life harder. Don't do it. So where was I? Day 5. I have no idea how this video looks. I can't see shit in the sun. Day 5, you continue. So then until halfway through day 9, day 10, you're doing Vipassana, like this body scan. Become aware of your sensations, regardless of what they are, be equanimous to them, work on your awareness. Great. Day 5 happened. I had kind of got a bit of perspective on okay, I am not entirely a piece of shit. Like, I am not all pain. It took like 12 hours for me to understand the concept of like, this is only right now. It was only in that moment. That moment has already passed. And the point, like, it really helped me a lot to affirm the reason that happens because I'm doing my job well. I probed so far into my subconscious that that's what came up, and that's fine. It needed to come up. It was released, like my middle of my back for the last 6 months has been like in agony. No matter how much foam rolling I do, it ain't fixing it. And I felt that block release a bit, and for the rest of the time, like a lot of my back and my shoulders and my upper chest was like my point of where I felt like so much trauma was getting out of me. So day 5, meditations were going good. I had this little bit of an internal worry of like, what if, like, because they're saying like, oh, it's just sensations on your body, and some of it it comes up from your subconscious and it'll exit your body, in the form of pain, in the form of pleasure, in the form of tingling and all of this other stuff. And I was like, yeah, but my left shoulder's pretty fucked. Like, what if it's just an injury? Like, I'm still struggling with sitting at this point. Like, I'm kind of just accepting the annoyance of having to sit that long, like 10 hours a day in meditation. But I was like, what if I'm just broken? Like, physically, like, what if I just need to be cut open and, like, surgically put back together? At this point, how my body was feeling, I was like, I need surgery. Like, I didn't realise how bad these injuries were, actually, because now I can feel them to such a bigger degree. That, what are you doing? Are you now covered in leaves? The neighbour's fluffy cat's covered in leaves. So I was like, oh my god, I need a chiropractor. I need to, like, I don't know. So I went to teach. She was like, but that's the weakest point of your body. So that's where the pain will decide to choose to exit your body. It's the weakest point of your body. And regardless, the point is to develop your equanimity and your focus. Your equanimity, don't react to something. Don't just watch it pass. Watch it rise and watch it pass. Watch it rise and watch it pass. And notice how things always rise and pass. And I was like, yeah, but I don't understand. I thought the point was like, you need to probe your subconscious and all of this. And it was like, no, the point is build equanimity. Nada. She was like, this is great. Some people are struggling to feel sensation. You're feeling sensation. Yes, it's pain. Observe the pain. Don't get caught up in it. Don't question, what about this injury? What about this? What about this? Or I'm attached to... I'm either also to realise, okay, if there's pain, instead of being like, oh, I don't want pain, push it away. Okay, observe it. But there's also, I can crave for that pain to be gone. At some point, I was not pushing it away. I was like, no, don't push it away, don't push it away. I was like, oh, I wish it was gone, I wish it was gone. I was like, I'm just craving a nice sensation. So this, like, day 5, I think my equanimity, like, oh, I got a lot better. A lot better. Day 6 was the day of hallucinations. I've never hallucinated before, not knowingly. Or not, like, involuntarily. Like, so you're getting very deep into your subconscious. They kind of call it like brain surgery. It definitely felt like that. This is a 30-minute video. You're kidding me. I want to do this in 12 minutes. So day 6, I started having some, already from actually day 4, but I didn't say anything because I was already so scared that I was broken. That, okay, bonjour. An old couple just walked past. Where was I? Day 6 was a very good day meditation-wise. I was being able to sit for a lot longer. I had managed the first, they have like from day 5 onwards, I want to say, 3 times a day, 3 1-hour sits of meditation. You're not allowed to move a muscle, and I had managed them. One of them not, but like I had started to manage them. Felt like I was getting somewhere. I was getting more settled in the technique. I was getting my own rhythm going. I was getting somewhere, I felt. But there is a huge aspect in that from about day 4, I had started to like see some spiders, and not like an image like in my head, and not like a thought, like as if there is space over here, and then they would just crawl around, just see the legs, or they would over there. And then I had like day 6 that morning. It's really hard to explain, but like if you imagine that your focus is like your eyesight, I'm looking at this is my meditation, I'm doing this, and then there's a thought, and I'm like, oh, okay, hello thought. I'm like, no, we're doing this, and I can just keep doing this. Like, I can keep flicking back and forth. I'm either lost in thought or I'm with my meditation. It's just my attention. Whereas like I could be with my meditation regardless, if I'm not thinking, there's just spiders everywhere here. There's just things there's just images going on, and I'm like, I'm aware of my sensations. These are all going on, but I am terrified of spiders. I've had a few in the last couple of years. I ended up having some not very good situations with them, which only exacerbated the whole situation. And then what I thought, quite luckily, was that I moved into a house where there was like really no spiders, like none at all. But that meant I didn't see them, so that like I got very scared then about what if I even see a small one, and I had a whole trauma about it. It was horrible. And I was really like scaring myself. And then there's some things like in horror movies when people's eyes go all funny, or if they're possessed or something. I really don't like it. Anyone doing funky shit with their eyes, I don't like it. And I started seeing stuff like this, and I had like a picture of like a golem creature. Like I'm happily meditating, doing my thing. Out of nowhere, this creature legs it up to me and rips out one of my eyeballs. And starts playing with it and runs away. And then like an hour later in the meditation, after the spider legs everywhere, I could feel them everywhere. I could feel them moving. I was like, oh my god, I can't. And then like this man with his arm falling off, and his eyes are literally falling out of his head. Like his eyes have been like blown open. And then he was like catching his eyeballs, and he had my eyeball and walked back up to me, and I was like, oh my god, like I was really scaring myself. I was really scaring myself. The images that came to my mind, it was like a horror movie. It was like an exorcism. It was like spiders everywhere. They wouldn't leave me. They wouldn't. And I'd already had like little hints of it, but day 6 was right, really. And I went to the teacher and I was like, listen, not that I'd kept it secret, but I was like, already since day 3, like I've had this kind of problem. I explained it to her similar how I just explained it, that like it's not up to me. Like regardless if I'm thinking something else or not, it's like it's image. They're just there. I can't do anything about them. And she was like, oh, so they're just hallucinations. Don't worry. The word hallucination, she was like, and she was really sweet. She was like, a hallucination is literally just an involuntary imagery. Normally it's imagery. Your brain creates images. It's like dreams are hallucinations, actually. It's just that we have the whole like societal idea of stamp of what hallucination is and what like kind of state the person is in that point. They were like, it's fine, like don't worry. Like, and again she was like reaffirming like the point, you've probed so deep into your subconscious, you've brought up your biggest, they're all of my biggest fears, like the biggest fears, like images of my biggest fears and concepts that I really I cannot stand. And I was like, I don't know what to do. She was like, well, if you open your eyes and see that it's not real. And I was like, I'm aware it's not real. I'm not thinking that it's real. I'm not that bad hallucinating, but what do I do? Like, and she was like, it's your subconscious saying hello, and you need to be equanimous to this also. Which for the first day was honestly so terrifying. Like I was really scared, and because I was being scared, I was not being equanimous at all. And I went back to my room, and there was like a little spider, like a really thick spider, but like a little one on the ceiling, and I was like, fucking hell. And I couldn't do. I just froze. I couldn't handle it. I was like now from the bigger picture outside, I could see I was like mentally, like I was going into deep surgery in my brain, and yeah, I was very scared, not just of the little practical spider on the wall, but like also. And my roommate walked in, and I was standing on my bed like a fucking child, and I just pointed at it. And luckily she was also a bit scared, but she was like funny scared. It was really sweet actually. She got a cup and paper and like sorted out, got out of the room. In silence we just like continued, went to our next meditation. And then of course, like the more I thought about them. And you know what, we're just sacrificing this video, it's gonna be fucking ages long. So okay, we need a little tangent here as a break on end of day 6, day 7. Oh, no, day 7, let's do day 7. Day 7 was similar to day 5, kind of like just a deeper level. I could feel that my attention was starting to wane, because it'd been a few days since we'd done the kind of practice to focus the attention and awareness, but I felt good. I started to feel the like, oh my god, I've been here like a lifetime. And actually at lunchtimes, still amazing food, wasn't weird at all. You start noticing things about people. This one woman I sat in front of, and the way she ate her apple made me want to kill her. Oh my life. Yeah. Fuck that woman. Oh my god. Like, and there was another woman who, I don't understand why, until like day 7 or 8, there was some people I hadn't seen the whole time. I was like, where did you come from? There was this one woman who, I feel really bad about it, but like, just how she looked, how she moved, how she dressed, how she just was as a human, kind of grossed me out a bit. I didn't like it. And always, because you kind of keep your eyes down and you serve yourself the food, somehow she always ended up to be like next to me. And how she grabbed the spoon, it was horrible. And I was, yeah. Anyway, I don't know how I ended up there. Oh, I do. So I kind of like pinned in my head like a few people, like, don't sit next to them. Some people are like, it was too intense to sit next to them. Some people it was just boring. Not that you need interesting, but like, I don't know, I felt a bit awkward. And some people it's just kind of like neutral. And just, I think out of chance, like there was like a group of like older women who, on the first day I hadn't spoken to, I'd done the typical thing and found a group of young girls, because the guys would be separated, and I went over to them and I was like, hi guys, do you mind if I join? And I'd had a chat with them, all around my age-ish, lovely people. But like, I was like, I kind of like kicked myself in that moment of like, why did I do that? Not I regret it, not at all, but I was like, I didn't even think, do I want to go sit with the old woman? And then this one morning, I went and I sat next to a middle-aged Indian woman. And I don't know if other people experience this, but like, especially with my Indian nan, she's very like, she says her prayer before dinner. She eats dinner like in silence. We eat dinner, and it's not an awkward one. It's like a very communal, loving silence, and it's not silent. It's just like you're just doing your thing. There's no need to add something to it. You just enjoy your moment together. And I really got this feeling from this woman of just like, I kind of had like a bit of a release also because I've had like a really tough few days, and I was like, oh my god, like I just sat next to this woman and I kind of felt a bit, she had a bit of, I mean she was a parent, I didn't talk to her in the end, she had parental vibes, and she was just very calmly eating her food like a normal person. She was not picking at her apple like a crazy person. She didn't have weird hands. Like, she gave me a lot of comfort. So then I did start like eating some meals next to her, which helped a lot. What else? Oh wait, we need to back up a little bit. In the first, up until day 4, I think we had like 5 people leave. And this is completely by chance. This was my own brain overanalyzing and doubting myself and being a bit self-conscious. They do not rank you there. They literally put you sit, like you have the old students at the front, the new students like at the back, like most of the people. And I was the one before back row, but like next to the door corner, I was in the corner, and there was like 3 or 4 people around me closer to the door. And I kind of like, at some point, the one girl behind us on day 1, she cried for 3-hour meditation and then left. And it's really dramatic, like Squid Game, like suddenly her place was just taken the next morning, she's gone, nothing said. And then another woman next to her left. And then you can see the men's side of the hall, like some people are leaving, but you're not really that bothered. And then 2 people like in front of me left. And I was like, I started looking around. And I was just thinking like, wait, at the front there's all the old students who are sitting still knowing what they're doing. Then in the middle you kind of got like neutral looking people. And then at the back, you've got the younger ones. You've got the more quirky looking ones. You've got the ones who like, I remember talking to them, the ones with the more quirky jobs. And there I was with that group, which it's just chance. But I was like, oh my god, they've ranked us in order of who they think will leave and put that person next to the door so they don't disturb everyone else. And this was when I was like, I wasn't thinking about leaving, but I was like, oh my god, like, this is difficult. This is really, really difficult. I did not know I was going to face myself in such a way. And so then on the day 5, the girl next to me left, and she was making me a bit crazy. She was like chewing her scarf because she was really anxious. She was having a really hard time. Until day 6, I did not understand equanimity to other people, also not just within my practice. I was just like, some girl was cracking her neck every 5 seconds. It was making me crazy. Someone kept shuffling. The girl next was chewing her scarf. I couldn't. They were all like making me rage at them. And then she left, and then I suddenly had this big open space next to me, which was a bit of a downfall because I could like, when my one leg went numb, I could stick it out to the side because I didn't have like a person there. But I was like, fuck, I'm next. Like, they've predicted it all correctly. All these people close to the door have left. And there I am, I'm the next one. And I'm like falling apart. I'm having hallucinations of spiders and stuff, and everyone else seems to be sitting there like fucking Buddha. Which is not the case, because when you, within a 3-hour sit or 2-hour sitting and then 1 hour, if you open your eyes or shuffle, when you look at everyone else, everyone's sitting there beautifully still. But it's not the case. Like, they also are like struggling, they're also shuffling. It's just like, do you happen to shuffle and open your eyes at the same time within 3 hours? Probably not. So yeah, that was, I think, around like day 6, day 7, I kind of like was like, don't be an idiot, they're not ranking you. But that was an initial thought of like, oh my god, I'm next. They predicted it well, and of course they didn't. Where was I? Day 7 happened. Oh, on the end of day 7, I had got to a point when I went to talk to the teacher again. I was like, hallucinations still happening, and I had never. Oh, this was the tangent. Oh my god, my brain. Okay, let's have a pause. Okay, we're backing up to before I even went to the course at this point. This year, and my knowledge on, approval of, belief in, experience of the law of attraction has greatly developed. I say was because now my opinion is very different. Make of this what you will, people. It's fine. Disagree, whatever, it's fine. I was kind of like one of these people that's like 70% law of attraction, like, yeah, in principle, but also how. Also, I never like experienced it properly, like, so like concretely. And I think also a bit of me was like not wanting to, because I was like, well, that, I mean, I'm not going to try to sound good in this video at all. It means that bad things in my life that are happening to me are my fault. And some of these things I feel like I am, in some ways I think I'm quite good at being like, this was my fault. I fucked up for myself. I fucked up for this. When things like Brexit, when things like visas, when people cancelling my driving test 10 times, I'm like, I got fuck all to do with that. And I was in a place of a lot of anger at the world. I'm still working on that. So I wasn't like a full believer at all of like fully law of attraction. You can, oh, hello. This wonderful cat is distracting me. So I'd had the whole day of like the first day of proper hallucinations. Oh, hello. Oh my god, you're so sweet. Do you want to come have a cuddle? Hello. We were our dorm rooms. My block anyway was not like an internal block. We have like a corridor and rooms. Our rooms, like our bedroom door, went to the outside, and it was not like amazingly built. So like the fact of having bugs in there, like the odd spider in the corner, like we had these little spindly ones, like even when we arrived. Like it's England, it's winter, and you've got that kind of situation. It's not mind blowing that there's bugs. But this little really thick spider we had at the end of my hallucination day, day 6, I was like, wait, what? Like, because I'd read in a book before, a book about a lot of spirituality, self-help stuff, a test of if you're not fully convinced of the law of attraction, there was like this exercise you could do where all you meditate upon, you think about chickens a lot for a month and just see how you start noticing them in your life, see how they start turning up, see about this. And I kind of pinned this exercise of like, you know what, I want to do that, which I hadn't done yet at all. I now don't need to, because on day 7, because there had been the little spider in my room and my little bit of like safety in this course, I mean I felt very safe in this course, but like I was like, no, regardless how the meditations go, at the end of the day I can lie in this really comfy bed. I have someone in the room with me, which actually was like a blessing, especially for me who like I don't really like. I feel safer with people in the room with me. So it was a very safe space, our little room. And also it was really sweet, like both of us were like finding nice leaves and sticks and like putting them on our little bedside table, like that's all you got to do. And I was like, fuck that safe space, I'm now terrified to walk into. And I was like, I need to get a handle on these hallucinations Not because of myself, actually. It was a very superficial reason. I was like, I cannot have that space be terrifying to me. I cannot. It's not allowed. Whatever. But if I keep panicking about seeing a spider, I'm thinking about spiders. I'm literally 10 hours a day manifesting spiders, because that's all I'm seeing in the hallucinations. That's all I'm getting scared of. And then even when I'm thinking, oh, I haven't hallucinated, then I suddenly think, like, they were in my brain. They were in my brain so much. Day 7, I was getting better. Hallucinations were still scary, but like before I would like almost jump when I was sitting. Now I wasn't. I was like sitting there, but I was still quite scared. But I was like, it's fine, it's hallucination. It'll pass. It'll pass. It'll pass. The rest of the body scans were going really well. There was a lot like I felt like I'd released a lot of tension. My body started to feel so much like, oh my god. Even still now, I feel so much lighter as a human. It's insane. Like I dumped about like 100 kilos of bullshit when I was there, out of my body, being, everything. End of day 7, I arrived back to my room after dinner, and I open the door, I walk in, and my roommate's just like standing there, and she just points like how I did the first time, and there's a huge spider, like no joke, like this, really thick, like basically like the daddy version of the little one we have. And I felt so bad. It was the first thing I did was apologise to this girl when we were allowed to speak. I went and stood on my bed and faced the wall, and I was like, I cannot. And it was like on the door frame, so that means I'd been close to it. And I was like, it's my fault. It's my fault. I manifested that shit here. I did. Yeah. Fuck. That was horrible. She was a hero, wonderful. I don't even know what she did in the end. I think she like scooted out the door. I went and talked to the teacher the next morning, and I was like, listen, I understand I need to become autonomous. I understand why the hallucination's coming up, because I'm really deep in my subconscious, but I cannot be like manifesting any more of these spiders anymore. But like, so I was scared. I was also like, felt like you really feel like you're in deep surgery. It's day 7. I was like, oh no, day 8 then. I was like, oh my god, like, what? Like, I don't even know. Like, every day feels like a lifetime, that you can go like this like 10 times in a day. You can have the best meditation and the worst one, and then the this, and then the this, and then a thought, and then a this, and all the discourses were giving me so much to think about, so much what I wanted to do. And I started like, I think day 8 was when like I randomly, in my head, I was like, I want to make a flower press. So I started like planning Christmas presents of what I'm going to craft out of all the shit in my mum's garden. Off topic. And then, where was I? I want a cup of tea. Where was I? Oh, I went to speak to the teacher, and I was like, I need to sort out this hallucinations situation. They'd already got a lot better. A lot better. Day 6 was the worst day. They got better. A lot, I mean, meaning less intense. But the spiders, like things like just legs even just passing through, still there. And she was like, it's your subconscious. And I was like, I understand, like, in this technique, you're not allowed to do any visualization. Also, I don't really know what to do, like, how to visualize. I don't know what to do. And she was like, all you can do is, you're observing you, the me, the I, the whatever my attention is. I'm observing the sensations of the body. And when this happens, all I'm going to do is like, hello, subconscious. I'm doing this right now. Don't react to it. Don't do this to it. Don't. Hello? I'm doing this right now. And the first few times, I was like a little child. I was like, oh my god, I'm so scared. Hi, subconscious. I'm doing this right now. Like, and by the end of that day, it was almost comical. Every time it happened, it wasn't funny. I was still like, I was just not reacting to it anymore. Like, I was still scared in principle, but like, I didn't like it. But I was just like, hello, subconscious. I'm doing this right now. Hello. And sometimes it would like genuinely like 5 times a minute. And I'd make myself word it, like say it in my head. Like really say it. I was like, hello, subconscious. I am observing sensations on this body right now. Done. Like no anger, no fear, no. And I was like, oh my god, I need it. It's really funny how your brain just brings things up for you. I was like, okay, I'm not really panicking about it anymore. I'm not terrified of them anymore, but still, like, so much in my head, I feel like I'm still manifesting them. I was like, I need a solution. And this was me just thinking. I was getting really distracted in meditation. So I need a solution. And suddenly in my brain, I think it's a hallucination, a frog literally just, like, hopped onto my screen of my vision. and its tongue like just like took the frog. And okay, I'm gonna sound a crazy person now. I was like, oh my god, amazing. I know you're not supposed to visualize, but I don't know what to do. So I was like, okay, great. Put this frog. It's gonna sit there. It's gonna eat all the spiders. And then there's a whole other bit I'm gonna keep for my own brain. This whole how I'm gonna get rid of the spiders, destroy them, like how this frog digested and destroyed the spiders. That it's impossible that they stay alive. Anyway, but I was like, this frog now and this tongue thing that's like going everywhere to eat all the spiders was like really distracting. So I was like, great, frog, can you just sit out of my field of vision? And then I could just let the tongue going and getting all the spiders. And then like I was like, it put me at rest, like my mind at rest of like, they are gone. They are. It didn't matter how many more come up. I can be like, hello subconscious, this is what you're doing, it's fine. And how I felt it was really like I had probed into my subconscious. Of course, deep fears and a lot of deep stuff was coming up, but also I felt like I already knew it, that like these things that I'm scared of, it's not the fact of the fear. I've put up barriers of what I'm scared of as like bodyguards to the stuff that I am scared to deal with. I had put them as bodyguards. And I was like, oh my god, the bodyguards are doing their job well. Like, and I really understood in myself of like, this is what I had done inside my subconscious. This is what I had done. I wasn't one of these people who like locks up boxes and like hides it away and never thinks about it. I think I'm quite like past, present, future in my brain is like, a lot of it is very present very often. But there's like to a certain extent, I let myself go to like go into that idea in my head or go into that memory or go into something until I'm like, we're not opening that door anymore. And yeah, the bodyguards were doing their jobs. So they started to quiet down a lot, actually. This little frog situation I got going on, and me just being like high subconscious. My equanimity to pain, incredible. Was very proud of myself. Day 8 literally was just like, oh look, tingling, let's see how long it lasts. Oh look, nice sensation, let's see how long it lasts. Oh look, pain, oh a lot of pain. Okay, like sometimes I was like, oh my god, everything feels 10 times better, and then suddenly with loads more pain in like one part of my body, or my one leg and hip was like not enjoying life. Whatever, that happens. I need to pee. This is annoying. We've got to day 8 and now I need to pee. I will go pee. And then, where did we go? I need to put my shoes on. I shall be back. Okay. Where was I? Day 8. I had my frog doing its job. I felt like I was getting somewhere. There was something, I think like day 7, the pain level had gone down quite a bit. Day 8, it was like, I think day 8, honestly, I was getting tired. Not tired, like fatigue tired, but just like, oh my god, I've been here a lifetime. And then, but I'd got a handle on the hallucination. It wasn't hallucinations anymore. It was really just like imagery in my mind. Just like, also me remembering stuff. Also, day 6 was the real bad day of that. But, and I'd in my head understood. I had to be reminded quite a bit. But I was like, this is because I'm doing my job right. This is because I did my job really right, really good, and I am probing really fine to my subconscious. I'm really dealing with a lot right now. And day 7, 8, 9, oh my god, I felt like I was in really deep brain surgery. I was like, do not let me out of this facility. Do not. Day 9 was difficult. Day 9... What happened on day 8? Oh, the end of day 8. So the meditations are going well, actually. My equanimity, like my non-reactiveness to the sensation, and just to be like, it'll pass, I understand, I'm just going to watch it, I'm not going to react to it all the time, I'm not going to create more misery for myself just by reacting to everything or becoming angry at something. And my ability to just like have a lot more compassion towards others, of like the girl who cracked her neck. Honestly, I don't know how she cracked her neck so loudly every 5 minutes. She literally taught me how to be a better human. Like, honestly. Every time her neck cracked, I was just like, don't react. It was harder to not react to her cracking her neck, the anger that just made me, like, I was like, shut up, we're all struggling here, just shut up. And I was like, well, what is that doing for me, reacting like that? Not at all. It's actually just giving me anger. I'm hurting myself, like, not at all. And if I keep hurting myself, more anger within me, I'm going to just create more anger in the world. That's not what I want. And I was like, every time she cracked her neck, I was like, equanimity, it's fine, don't react. And by about day 8, I was like, noises in the hall, people, fucking this one guy, oh my god, since about day 3, I do not know, I think some people had a cold while they were there, there's a lot of people coughing. This one guy, when he coughed, he sounded like he was like gagging, and he sounded like he was going to throw up. It was disgusting sounding. Even that I managed to like be okay with. Yeah, day 9 was just like the morning I ended up just like crying basically most of the day. Like, I was just sitting there and I was just like, I think I'd kind of gone a bit back to like the feeling of day 4 of like there'd been a lot of pain again. I realised that, I mean, you already know it, like this 10 days is like, it feels like a lifetime, but it's like one little tiptoe on the path of the right direction. And I was like, oh my god, like I have so much to do, and there's so much pain and anger, and what if I don't have the strength to be able to sort it out? What if I bit off more than I could chew? What if all of this kind of was resurfacing in my head, and I really was trying to keep myself in check, like really hard, like, okay, come on, like, you can do it. And I was tired. I was starting to doubt myself. I was starting to doubt. I mean, doubt's always a part of it. I was just doubting. I was not having confidence in myself. I was physically getting very, very, very uncomfortable. I was like, I cannot sit a second longer. And then I went to teacher, I was like, have you had this problem from day 2? Which, I know it sounds weird because like, this was 20 minutes ago and I was saying, oh, I learned that I need to be calm. I had to relearn it. I had kind of forgotten the wisdom of it's a skill to learn to sit. And most meditations, I just sat there with just tears just rolling down my eyes. Having your eyes closed doesn't help. You can still cry. And one day I went back to my room during like just after lunch or something. Like you have like 20 minutes, or you have like an hour and a half for lunch, and when you're done, you just do what you like. You walk around a bit. I think that day I didn't even go in the walking area. Like, didn't even bother. And I was sitting on my bed, like, trying to stretch a little bit, but not really. And I was just like, I was emotionally spent. And I was just kind of having a bit of a cry about life. And my roommate, the sweetest woman ever, she just came in and she just, like, put a flower on my bed and left. And I was like, oh my god. And I just started crying even more. This is super sweet. The crazy thing is that, like, day 9 was not a bad day. Like, my attention was quite all over the place, but I was, like, within my meditations, it was okay. I was just like, I'm just so uncomfortable, and I've already sat in uncomfortable for so long that I'm getting less. I don't sit in uncomfortable anymore. And one of the meditations, I just stood up and I walked out, and I knew where I was walking. I knew where I was going, and in the back of my head I knew I wouldn't go there, but I knew where I was going. And I walked there, having this little like rope saying, female course boundary, you can't leave, you're not allowed to leave the course boundary. And I was leaving, I was like, I can't do it anymore. Like, there's too much pain. I got lost in the midst of it all. I was doubting myself, and I was like, I am only pain, I'm only bad, like, there's nothing good within me. How am I supposed to live like that? Like, how? Yeah. That was my state in the moment, also because, and then again I was like, I'm this far into my subconscious, all of this shit I am bringing up to the surface level, I'm not going back there to bring up my favourite childhood memory. Like, in bringing up shit to deal with it and to get rid of it and pass it out my body, like, but the thing was, I was like trying to remember that, but also I'm literally in the midst of it. It's really hard to step out of it and see it like that. When you're in that and you're in that zone, you have no other input, you're literally just you and you. Day 9 with like intensive surgery, like really, and I walked until literally I was standing at the boundary of the course, and I just stood there and cried my eyes out, and I was like, now what? like, now what? And I was like, okay, great, I'm looking in this direction. Like, I just leave. Okay, so in that direction, there's pain. In the other direction, back towards the meditation centre, there's pain, but there's tools to deal with it. And me being me, I just poked my toe on the other side of the line, just touched the floor, gave myself a little giggle in the moment, sucked it up, and I walked back to the meditation hall, and almost with just like defiance of just like, fucking gonna do this, I walked in, just like plonked my ass. I was like, I'm not fucking moving, I'm just meditating. And that hour of meditation was one of my best hours there, because I realised this year I have to let myself play things out. I have to do it. Like, I knew that if I'd have stayed in that meditation hall and been in my head like, okay, well, you could leave, but it's not going to be very good, you're going to hate yourself for that. Or you could stay, but then you're just going to keep struggling. Like, rationalising it in my head would not have done it. I was like, I need to let myself, even when I walked out of the meditation hall, I knew in the back of my head, I was like, I'm not leaving. I just need to get myself to the point that I'm one step away, go as far, like, play it out that I leave. How do I feel? What do I want to do? Okay. Play out the other situation. Come back to the meditation hall. What is it if I'm like, you know what? It's literally a day and a half left. What if your hip breaks off? It clearly cannot. And all these other people are way less physically able than you in theory. You didn't think that when you decided to start doing aerial straps and people like your shoulders are going to fall off. You're like, fuck it, I'll be fine. You can sit down. Like, and this perspective of just like the learned experience of, I have to play things out, I have to let myself do it. And I think I became very aware of it, but I can see from my past patterns that I'm very much like this. I let myself fall and hit the floor before I go back up. I'm not like when things are going to shit, I'm like, yeah, let's go to shit with it. Like, I want to find out that, like, I need to go to the end of each alleyway to, like, decide then my path. I can't, like, look at it and decide. I have to go and, like, I have to walk to the end and just be like, okay, no, or yes. So day 9, I was like, I just felt very, like, I felt frail. I think I was starting to feel the most normal body that I've ever felt, which is still now. It's a very strange but lovely feeling, actually. So day 10, you're, like, getting excited, because the end of day 10, you get to talk again. But the morning, normal, everything's happening. And then you do the afternoon meditation, and then you get to speak. They're like, hey, yeah, you can now leave the meditation hall. And it's to soften the blow that you can, like, speak in the evening of day 10 and on the morning of day 11. Or maybe I got that wrong. Evening of day 9? Yeah, evening of day 9, morning of day 10. You can speak. And we walked outside, and everyone was just like, I don't know, hi? Like, it was, your voice sounds so weird to yourself. We all just didn't know what to say, because all of us had been through such a journey to be like, how are you? How was it? No one asked, like, you kind of ask it, but you're like, I don't know how to answer that. I'm not going to ask that to anyone else. And then very quickly, for the first hour, it's really strange to be speaking. And then very, 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 very quickly, it's like the most normal thing. And everyone's like blabbering about everything. Like the amount of funny things that came up in our heads, or, oh, it's such a heartwarming thing. It's so beautiful. And then they have, like, they put out all the books. Like, they have, like, a lot of books they recommend. A lot of information. You can have a lot of stuff. It's lovely to you have dinner with, oh wait, that was the day after. Anyway, you can have dinner with people, like, talk to them. Absolutely wonderful. And then that evening you do your first metta meditation, which, in all honesty, I had not a fucking clue what happened. Also, about the chanting, it wasn't funny at all. After day 0, it wasn't funny, really. Day 5 morning chanting, whoa, sick. Honestly, I would download that album. Day 6, not at all, that was the worst. Day 5 had a rhythm. I was like, oh my god. Like, from day 1 to day 5, it's like, oh yeah, chanting's getting better. The morning ones, like the 4 to 6 a.m. ones. Day 6 was absolute. I hated it. I think I actually left on my meditate in my room. And then regular, I actually loved it. Absolutely fucking loved it. And then the metta chanting, I was like, what is going on? And he chants in Pali and in Hindi, I think a mix. it's really beautiful, it's really weird, it's really beautiful. Honestly, there's some bits of it that like genuinely just like fed my soul. Some of my favourite memories or like moments there were just like the end of the meditation, like some lines of the song that would come back often. It was literally like someone was just feeding me sunlight. Yeah, anyway, a lot of love for this man. Where was I? Metta, the last part of the meditation, like what you do on the last day. So you do it for the first time on the evening before. I did not understand at all, like at all. And then I went back to the room, and of course you can talk. Me and my roommate are like so excited to be able to say goodnight to each other and stuff. And we're having a little chat, and we're like, did you understand what happened? Like, I didn't understand. The next morning you do normal meditations, and you do metta again. And I got it. Like, the second time, I was like, oh, if I don't even know how to explain, like, I'm not even just trying to explain what it is. There's 1,000 videos. But the first time, I think, I was, like, not fully in it, or I was like, it was nice, but I didn't really understand what I was trying to feel, or what I was trying to bring up within myself, or what I was focusing on, or I was a bit confused. The second time, I felt like a warmth of, it almost felt like warm wine, like warm red mulled wine in the bottom of my stomach that just filled me up and was just like emanating out of me, of like, just like, not even evaporating, but just like I was producing like a warm aura of just love and happiness, and oh, it was so beautiful. And that again, after that meditation, it was the same feeling of on day 4 when it ended. No one shuffled, no one moved, everyone just stayed sitting there, and it was such a beautiful thing. Also for me within my own body, how, because I'd felt so contracted and stuck for so long, that the amount I released from my back is unreal. And then to have this like soothing, I mean that's the whole point of metta, it's supposed to be soothing, but literally like soothing, I feel softer, and I feel normal bodied. I don't feel circus bodied right now, but also because I sat for 10 days, and then afterwards I decided to just like be a normal human in Bristol and just live my life and not be like, let's go train. Like, I mean, I still am circus body, it doesn't just go away in 10 days, but I feel just softer, more me, like 10 times more me, and just fluid, and movement within me is just like, oh. And that last day is just heaven. You speak to people, you exchange with people, you read the books. Like, they give you like a book list, they give you a lot of reading material, which I had no reading material for like 10 days, and suddenly overwhelming. You have a wonderful soup again, absolutely beautiful. You sign up for like to clean a certain space the next morning when you're packing up and going and stuff. We did the final meditation. Honestly, my last day of meditating, I feel like I've made this mistake a few times. It wasn't my best, but it wasn't my worst. It was just like, okay, my tension is waning, but it's okay, I'm getting better. I felt like for the first time, I was in the control panel, fully 100, I was just like, yeah, it's fine, we can have a little bit of a storm going on, I'm going to sort it out, like, I'm good to go. Like, this was a wonderful feeling, to just be like, yeah. Sleep didn't really happen, actually felt amazing though, didn't care. And then on the end of the last meditation, it'd been a bit of like a, and these for the serious sitting where you like sit and you can't move. Because after my kind of like day 8, day 9 decline, I hadn't given up, not at all, but I was like, you know what, Tash, you're being very harsh on yourself. Like, just in my head I was like, as soon as I don't think I managed the first time we did it, but the second time we did it I managed, and then I was managing it for a few days, then I didn't manage one and I had to move around a lot and it was horrible, and I was like, I suddenly just felt like I'd failed. Like, I almost felt like I was going to be told off or something. I was like, oh my god, like I failed, and I really beat myself because I was like, that's the least economist thing to be doing. And I was like, it's such a me thing of like, all or nothing. Like, I either need to achieve all of them, or it's not worth even trying. And I was like, you know what? You're going to go and you're going to try. But if you need to move, you're going to move. The point is that you do it. The point is that you don't beat yourself about it. And for the last 2 days, I was shimmying around a lot. My leg was in a lot of pain. But I was like, okay, that's how it is right now. Right now, I'm in the point where I cannot accomplish it. And for me, actually, that was a really big lesson to learn, to be like, I'm not going to force myself to do it and sacrifice the point of the thing, which I think I do often, just to be like, I managed. Like, I died in the process, but I managed. And I was like, no, right now, this is where we're at. And to realise that that's not where I want to be, and just be like, this is where we're at. We're accepting this, was a very big learning lesson for me. And yeah, we did the last meditation, we packed my stuff, and then I was one of the last out the hall, so I, like, on this sign up sheet, so what you clean the next day, there was nothing, I, like, signed up, like, clean the E block corridor or something. I'd never been to E block, and I arrived, so I was just like, what am I doing? Like, I don't know what. And they're like, oh, you just need to hoover this long ass corridor that hasn't been hoovered for 10 days. Great, I can do that. And I learned a life lesson while hoovering this corridor. I feel like I'm quite a generous person. I feel like I don't really like, I'm very happy to help people. I had not a problem at all with this. I mean, I love how the course is one that everything's donation. Everyone is serving. Everyone is there for the purpose of someone else. Or, like, there to serve someone else. Or you're there to work on yourself. That's it. It's very pure. And so I was, like, I started hoovering this corridor. Obviously, everyone's packing up their stuff. There's people walking everywhere. People are stepping over my hoover. And we're quite, like, even though you can speak, you've kept your eyes down, you haven't spoken for so long, that it's not weird to, like, not say hi to someone, and to not, like, say thank you when you open the door all the time. Like, people were just kind of, like, stepping over my hoover, taking their suitcases, places, doing their thing, and we're kind of, like, ignoring each other, because that was, like, normalised. And I'm hoovering. And I was like, wait, there's a difference between ignoring someone and just not feeling the need to show them any attention. There is a difference. I'm not concrete on what it is yet, but there is a difference. And I was like, I think before I'd have gone, if someone had been like, just hoover this whole corridor, people are going to step all over your hoover, you're going to be in the way, you're going to have to do all this, you're going to have to do all this, I'd be like, fine to do it. But, like, if someone's, like, literally climbing over my hoover like a suitcase, I would, or, like, I'm hoovering a whole thing for them that they made it messy the last 10 days. I wasn't even in this block. Now I'm hoovering it. Like, I wouldn't expect a thank you, but I'd be like, it would be nice. And in that moment, I was hoovering this corridor on my own, like, with, like, just in my own head, being present in the moment, practicing still. And I was just like, there's not a single piece of me that wants a thank you from anyone. Like, I am doing this to serve them. It's pure. I was like, oh my god, like, I have not felt this pure ever. I was like, there's not a bit of me that wants anything in return. I don't even want to thank you. I don't even want eye contact. I don't want anything. And it was really nice, actually, because there was another woman who came out. She was like, oh, do you know where F block is? Like, she's supposed to clean the doors. And I was like, oh, that's my block. Because she had the same situation. She just signed up for something where there was a spare box. And it was really sweet, actually. I was like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. Like, I clean up her stuff after, and she cleans up mine. So you're always doing it to serve someone. And it's just such a pure, lovely thing. And we, it was not enough time in the end to speak with everyone. It was, so good. So good. On the bus on the way back, this lovely woman dropped me and another girl at the bus stop. The real world, like, sit in a bus, like, to have, like, moving images around you. Like, the first day is, like, intense on the outside world. In the outside world. I listened to a song. I listened to Breathe In, Breathe Out. Daddy Was a Milkman. It was the last song I listened to when I went in there as well, actually. And I was, like, crying, looking at the hills of this song. Like, it just filled me up. I heard every little nuance in the music, like, and I just, and then, of course, like, the best way to get back into the real world, I had to pass through Birmingham, and I had a few hours to kill in Birmingham. And there was a Christmas market, there was buskers, there was like Jesus preachy people with microphones, there was like every 5 shops there was a new busker, there was everyone at the Christmas market. It was dark, there was lights everywhere, there were shops everywhere, it was crammed full of people. I was like, this is my huge backpack. I was like, oh my god, what, like a way back into the real world. There was a huge ass polar bear, like 2-meter tall polar bear walking through the streets. I was very sensory overloaded, and I went back to life. Oh, and for the first like 5 days after, at the end of each day, like it was an effort to speak, and my voice in the morning was so croaky because I hadn't used it in ages, and like even like walking around some places was tiring. I felt like such an old person. Like, I went on a walk today and now I'm tired, but it came back really fast. And the lightness I felt is unreal. And they really do set you up to like, they gave me all the information to be able to continue on my own. They're really like, you're your own master. Oh yeah, and the end, like the last meditation, he ends his chant, and then like normally if there's something different happening that day, then one of the teachers will like take the microphone, like, so now this is going to happen, now you can do this. Like when they broke the silence, they like took the microphone, so you can leave the hall, don't talk within the hall, outside you can now speak and there'll be this. So his chant ends, everyone's sitting there like expecting me of like their congratulations, you finished the course, something like this. I don't know, because in the recording he'd been like, so now you're a master, da, da, da. I do my chant, da, da, da. Off he goes, and the teachers just stand up and leave, and you're all just there like, oh shit, you're really on your own now. Like, but it's the best way to end it like that, actually. It was just, yeah. And I did, on the last day I went and spoke to the teacher, I thanked her, and I asked a few cheeky questions of my own that I was just curious about. Like how she came to be a teacher and stuff like this. Thanked her a lot. And you do feel like that last day is like a soothing balm on your wound, like surgery is over, you managed. And I went back, and I went to Bristol with my friend, to stay with her, and it was so lovely. I mean, it would have been lovely regardless if I'd done the course or not, but just to be so present and to be so much softer, like emotionally, physically, like my attention is insane, but not that. Forget about the attention bit. My ability to, I don't want to call it determination, that seems a bit dramatic, but like, so I had this idea, I'm going to make some flower presses out of this wood and soil and sand it all, and I had this whole idea. And such a me thing I would do, like, okay, cut it, get distracted, do other things, be like, oh, I want to do a bit of this, I want to do a bit of this, and then go back to it, and then the next day I'll sand it, and the next day I'll get the drill bits, then the next day I'll go to the shop, and I was like, you know what? I have one day at my mum's before I go to my friends, so I would love to make her one, and I need to make like 4 other ones, so I'm going to make them for like anyone I need to give a present to this year for Christmas. I'm going to make them one, and I want to make myself one. And I was like, can I just do it? Like, in the same way that every time we went to sit in the meditation, it was like, observe the breath. No, I got distracted. Observe. I wasn't angry, it wasn't, you have to do this, it wasn't forceful. And I was like, okay, so I cut all the wood. First I measured all the wood. And then I kind of just got up to do something. Like, my natural instincts are still, like, very habitually, like, there. So I just got up and, like, went and grabbed my laptop, and I was like, put the laptop down, like, really gently. I was like, we're doing this right now. Go outside, cut all the pieces. And then I just went inside and, like, made a cup of tea to sit. I went to sit down, and I was like, we're doing this right now. Like, take your cup of tea, like, make it nice. Like, I even put some chocolate in a bowl. Went outside, and I was like, okay, let's go find sandpaper. Don't put the sandpaper down, go do something else. Like, sand it. And every time, like, I sand one of them, and it was really hard work, so it was like really manual. It was just it wasn't a machine, and I had a lot of sanding to do. Also, because my cutting was not best. And every time I put one down, and I was like, oh my god, this is when I'm just like, I don't know, should I go chill a bit? And I was like, okay, it's not the funnest job. I'm not in pain. It's fun. Like, pick up the next one. Like, just do it. Like, really gently. Like, my attention is like, I'm so gentle. We're doing this. And I managed. I got them all done. And And now with tasks, I feel, even when I feel like my attention does get sporadic, like right now I'm planning a trip to India, and the amount of planning I need to do is unreal. And like still my ability to set a computer and do work for a long amount of time. I'm a circus artist for a reason. For many reasons, but like that's just not something I naturally do. I've never done like a 9-to-5 office job. And yesterday I had a huge list, and because I leave in the morning, oh my god, it's terrifying. And actually this course gave me a lot of motivation for my trip in India, because everything is from India, of course, and like I can go meditate in temples there. So I was getting really motivated about that when I was there, and I was like, no, do this right now. We're doing this. You can like get excited about, like, this is not the moment. Like I did have some days and I was like, that's a cool thought, or like just like a concept would go through my mind. I was like, that's really cool, and I was like, not right now. We're doing this right now. And yesterday, I mean, it's not healthy to sit at a laptop for 13 hours, but I did not, I mean, I peed and I drank water, but I was like, there is the practicality of it. It all has to be done. I only have X amount of hours. I need to get it done. End of discussion. And I'd do a task, and I'd be like, we're doing this right now. We're doing this right now. And I was like, you know what, Tash? Look like a child. Look at the two. Pick anything on it. Free fall. Pick something and just do it. To the end. Don't do half of it. Do it. And I, in this sense, practically that's the biggest thing I took away, but like internally not even how I see the world, things weren't drastically changed how I saw the world, but how I acted in it, how I don't think I was that judgmental of a person. I never really acted on my judgments, but like internally, like especially on the train on the way back from Birmingham, there was like a family that was just like, they had like loads of like, I mean, I don't even know how they can feed their kids that kind of food. Like, I'm not even like I'm healthy, but I'm not like bashing people who eat other things. And oh my god, she was giving this kid like, oh my god, I don't even know what, like, that's further than processed food. And then like a little baby was screaming, crying, and we're all in this crammed train. Really, everyone was really uncomfortable. The other kids were fighting with each other. And this kind of thing, like especially screaming children, oh my god, I just hate the sound of it. And I was like, great, Tash, that woman cracking her neck was nothing. Let's practice right now. I sat there, closed my eyes, and was like, be economist. Don't get angry at this child internally. I'm never someone to like be the like giving dirty looks, or I haven't been that person, but I'm not the one to like show it visibly, but I do. It does like bother me, and like things when I see things that I'm just like, oh my god, what are they doing? I do think that, and I don't think it's a bad thing, but it doesn't serve me, these thoughts. It doesn't bring me any joy. And I was like, great, okay, this child's crying. It needs something. It's its only language to speak in. It needs something. Have some compassion for them. Have some compassion for this mother. Not because, oh look, she's doing the best she can and all of this, because honestly she wasn't even trying. She was there like eating some weird ass processed food on a stick herself, like literally ignoring everyone, not comforting her child, not telling the kids stop fighting, not telling them, look, we're in a public place, do you want to like learn how to be in the world? No, she was really not doing a great job. But I was like, why should I get angry at that? Like I need to accumulate compassion for this woman, for like, she does not have the tools to be able to do this right now, clearly. She's not in a place of joy. She's not. I just have compassion for her, and that's it. I can't be angry at her. I can't. And it's still work in progress. I mean, it's like step one work in progress. But sure. I was like, oh my god, I really need to just keep practicing this. And especially because I was staying at my mum's after for like one day, and she was working, and I was basically just like working with the wood in the garden the whole day, which was the plan, because I was like a bit scared of staying at hers, because that's a bit of a rocky situation, or it was then especially. And things that I would, not that it makes it suddenly okay, not that it makes the whole situation fine, not at all, but for me to not suffer emotionally and mentally how I normally would there, to just be like, she'd say something or do something that normally made me crazy. And I was like, if first step, just be equanimous. Second step, if I can accumulate compassion towards it, great. If not, I feel like accumulate is not the word. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, like I just feel softer and happier and better. And I think every circus artist should do this, honestly, because regardless your beliefs, I mean, it's like a practical process. There's no spiritual, there's no religious, there's no nothing. Literally a practical skill you're learning. To wake up every sensation in your body. I keep saying wake up, like become aware of. There was so much crossover between what I learned and how my circus practice is, between how I feel and how I do a show, even if it's not even my own show. Like, I'm doing replacement in someone else's show. How I do the show, how I feel within the show, just basically who you are as a person. If you're an artist, you're creating, and the only place you can create from is from the place of you. So you want you to be the best form of yourself, and this is really just like, off you go, let's get the best form of yourself. And it was, I think, a lot of circus artists, including myself, which was why I made this video actually, was to document it for myself, because of course I'm not going to remember everything, and also I can't write down everything. Like, I will write like a little note on each day of like, just to like log it or like keep the memory for myself. But I genuinely, the struggles people said in videos were like, oh my god, you only get like 2 meals a day, whatever, don't care. People were saying, oh yeah, but you have to like go stay there for 10 days. Okay, like, I guess people who work 9 to 5 jobs, who have like a schedule, they eat their same food, they have 3 meals a day, they have this and this, and they have their own bed, they have their husband, they have their this, they have their that. To suddenly uproot their life and go to this place for 10 days is a big thing. I think for circus artists, and I can only speak for myself, to suddenly just not be at home for 10 days is not weird. To pack up in a backpack and off you go, not weird. To like be in like new situations, to have a different bedroom to sleep in every other night, to all of this stuff, like to travel somewhere, to eat catering food, like, I mean, that food is incredible, but like, it's not strange for circus artists to like arrive somewhere and be told, this is where you sleep, here's your food, this is the timetable, and it's a weird timetable, and then you arrive somewhere else, this happens. It was not strange to me. What I was worried about was sitting. Like, the struggles I faced there, I think were, I mean, it's not unique to me, not at all, but I think I would have liked to hear some insight on that, rather than hear the insight on, oh, well, this was the technique. It's like, yeah, well, everyone's trying to explain the technique themselves, whereas the teacher explains it best. All the videos are there, go watch them. And to just, for me, if someone had said to me before, it was not, out of all the revelations that I could not have learnt without being there, one of them I think I could have learnt and benefited greatly from before I'd have gone, is someone literally just spelling it out for me. It's like, sitting is a skill. To sit on the floor for that many hours, it's a skill. There will be pain involved. The pain is going to be useful because it's an automatic sensation. Your point is to observe sensations. It doesn't matter what kind. End of, you've already got a sensation, observe it. Like, you're already working at that point. And you just like, if you're a really active person, or if someone's like, let's say you got really overweight, someone who's never worked out, and you say, okay, we're going to do a 10-day workout program. It's not going to be fun for them. It's not, I mean, it might be fun, but it won't be a joyful experience the whole time. It's not going to be pain-free. It's going to be uncomfortable. But at no point are you going to tell that person, you know what? You don't really seem to be an active person. I don't think activity is for you. No. You just have to, like, get used to it. You just have to learn it. It's a skill. Like, stop running away from it. And I was like, stop running away from the idea that I cannot sit still. Like, learn it. Fucking learn it. You learn other things. Learn it. This is a mental skill. Learn it. Like, or at least just, like, sit in the uncomfortability. The things we do to our body in circus. When someone is like, okay, we're going to do a 3-minute wall handstand. And everyone just is like, oh my god, I'm dying when I'm staying here. And they're like, oh yeah, but you know, when I meditate, like, one of my legs goes a bit numb. Okay. Like, I had this problem before I went, that I couldn't meditate for more than 45 minutes. Even in, like, 20 minutes. Without one of my legs going entirely numb. Just because of how I was sitting, I don't even know. And I was just like, oh my god, that means I can't do it. Like, for me, I just feel like a bit like an idiot now. And that's, of course, you have to learn it and practice it as well. But, like, that's something that wasn't, like, a revelation. Or, like, there's so many, like, personal ways of how I now think about things, or little clicks that happened, that's just a part of who I am now. That happened, and that's part of an experience I had, and all of that accumulation, even all the things like, I remember on like day 5 I was like, oh my god, there's so much happened like in my brain, and I felt like I got really far. None of it's tangible, none of it's in the form of words, it's just a sensation, and it's just a experience I had, which is my own to be experienced, like that's just within me now. There's no saying it to a camera, to whatever, but the thing of like, I thought it was logical. I was like, you know what, I don't have a whole morning routine, I'm going to spend that 30 minutes and go do like a secret workout in the forest. Don't do it. Learn, like, you can, on the last 3 days, honestly, I think I had like a little walk around outside when it was nice weather, but if I didn't want to, I didn't. The first few days I was like forcing myself. I was like, no, let's go, like speed walk, and I was just like, why? You're trying to hold on to the idea of what you should be doing, but that's not true. Like, also, no matter, even if I was like to start sprinting, which you're not allowed to do, if I was to sprint every 3 seconds I had there, it would still be nothing in comparison to the activity level I normally have. So, like, me strolling around kept me calm. I was like, oh my god, if you feel like your sense like insane, like a little squirrel moves and you're like, you feel like a squirrel yourself, like the amount of where your awareness goes and how much you can hear and see is insane. That, to me, was 10 times more enjoyable than when I had my hoodie up with like a fucking head torch on at 4 a.m. doing star jumps in the forest. No. Also, because when you've sat for that long, your legs don't really feel like they want to do star jumps, and I was like, you need to get activity in you, like, fucking idiot. But I had to learn that, and I would have loved it if someone had explained that to me, because it's a skill. Learn it. There's going to be uncomfortabilities there. It's fine. It's fine. It's 10 times worth it than... That doesn't make sense. It's more worth it than there is pain. And just because I had a very painful experience and I had a very confronting experience does not mean it's going to be like that for everyone. Like, people get confronted in different ways. People deal with things differently. People have different pain tolerances. People have just... It's just different for everyone, the whole experience of it. But I think I would really love it if lots of people to just, like, maybe not for an hour and a half, fucking hell, but, like, would just speak at a camera their 10 days, what they experienced. Because then, to get, like, different perspectives and... yeah, just to hear others' experience, it gives you knowledge. It doesn't give you it doesn't give you the full experience, but I think it can give a lot more than someone explaining a technique, secondhand information, and then being like, oh, the food's nice. Oh, yeah, so they needed this meditation from this time to this time. It's like, well, that we got. Like, people are doing packing lists. I'm like, wear comfy clothes next. Yeah. So I highly recommend all circus artists do it. It's definitely possible for circus artists. I think the younger the better. No, that's the lie. How do I want to say this? Don't feel like you need to be really good at meditation. Don't feel like you need to have practiced for a long time. Actually, you can go in there with zero practice, ever. So young in meditation, or if you're just in a circus school, I don't feel like you need to be professional anything. Like, I honestly, if everyone on the planet did this course, the world would be a 10 times better place. And yeah, I think circus artists could benefit a lot, because the crossover of information you consume between what helps yourself, what helps your circus practice, what helps shows, what helps other people, because actually at the end of the day, we're doing shows for people. You're literally a person expressing something through yourself to please others. How are you supposed to do this if you can't even feel a sensation in your own body? If you're not alive inside yourself, then how? Of course, it's not impossible. It's not like we all create. I created loads before I did this course. I'm going to create loads after, and it's not like now I'm suddenly set free and everything's going to be fine. But I understand the root of things as much as I can right now, and a sensitivity to detail that it's the essence, the bit that you can't even touch, the bit that it's so much more alive and so much more accessible to you. And I mean, the better you are as a human, the better you are as a creator, I reckon. Not better as in good person or not person, but like, the better you know yourself, the more aware you are of yourself, the more aware you are of who you want to be, how you feel, how your body feels, how you react to things, how you don't react to things, how to interact with other people. It's literally what we do. So I think it's worth it. I don't really know how to end this. This is a tiny bit of cold tea, but it's still quite good. If anyone actually watched this whole thing, let me know. I would love to speak with, you know what, no one even knows this channel exists. If someone watched this, whether circus artist or not actually, creator of something, or not even, and if you have questions, like you want to do the course genuinely, but you would like to ask someone how it was for them, or you have questions, let me know, because I would have loved to have this person. And if you have managed to find me and this video, then you're deep diving somewhere. So I respect anyone who deep dives into any kind of research on their own. Ciao.